This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Watch us fight all through the night, deep in the heart of Texas. The trailer park is nice and dark, deep in the heart of Texas. Cat drinks his brew and he spits his chew, deep in the heart of Texas. The TV blares, but no one cares, deep in the heart of Texas. Here we go!
Hey, everybody. Welcome to
King
King of the Hill podcast. I'm Mike.
And I am Rusty.
He is almost every time.
Yep.
Hey, this is a That Ain't Right Friday. And That Ain't Right Fridays are set aside for King of the Hill centric, King of the Hill universe type stuff. Sometimes, like last time, we talked about an article that somebody wrote about our show, which is wonderful.
Which I reached out to the article writer, and they are located out of Austin, and they're going to get back with me. But we might be doing something with them collaboratively, and I think that we might end up being their plug, quote unquote, for King of the Hill news.
Nice.
Because she said that I'll reach out to you in March unless there's more information that drops out about King of the Hill in between now and then. So we might become the official King of the Hill news for Lone Star Live.
There's not a ton of King of the Hill brand new stuff out there right this minute. It's still kind of quiet.
Still kinda quiet.
It comes out a little at a time. Oh, thanks, Sparky.
Sparky Buff said the article introduced
yeah.
them to this podcast. Yeah, there we go.
So what we did is we found a list of the 25 greatest animated shows of all time. Now, again, this is from last year. Not far into last year, but it is from last year, so it doesn't include anything, from this year or the last quarter of 24. And all of this is subjective, so don't think that this is our list.
Yeah, this is just a list.
This is a list that was on Yardbarker. Not Yardbarker. I'm sorry. Maybe it was on. No, it was on Yardbarker.
Yes, Yardbarker.
So this is written by Chris Morgan from 2024, and it is a list of the 25 greatest, in his estimation, shows of all time. Number 25, BoJack Horseman. Did you watch any BoJack Horseman?
I did watch BoJack Horseman. BoJack Horseman is a phenomenal animated show, and I really like the self-deprecation and stuff like that in it. The BoJack is like depressed, feels like he's a failure. He's addicted to drugs, and he's a talking horse.
Yeah.
So it kind of adds an element to it. And his best friend is like a human being, and then there's like a cat. And I mean, it's just I really like when animated shows have anthropomorphic
I tried
animals.
to get into it, and for some reason couldn't. I've always wanted to go back and
What's
try
his
it
name?
again.
Arnett? Will Arnett?
Yeah, it's Will Arnett. I just couldn't get into it for some reason. I don't know why.
I thought it was great.
Number 24, Family Guy. Now, as far as Family Guy goes, it's now run for over 20 years.
Yeah.
I remember when Family Guy first came out. Family Guy was fantastic when it first came out, those first couple of seasons. Then Fox canceled it. Then it came out on DVD, and it got big again. Then Adult Swim picked it up, and then they started new episodes and all this stuff. And frankly, this is a show that's gone on for about 10 years too long.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not a huge fan of it.
No, the jokes it's too much. You've done every joke at this point. And it ends up that every episode is more just a bunch of references to pop culture than it is anything else. And it gets a little tiresome for me. So I'm not a huge fan. Number 23, Batman the Animated Series. Did you ever watch that?
Watched all of it, and actually, one of my favorite voices, really, for a character is the guy who does Batman, and also the guy who did the Joker in this, which is Mark
Joker is
Mark Hamill.
Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, so Kevin Conroy is the
Yeah.
guy who played Batman in this.
Kevin Conroy's
and,
been here a couple of times for like Comic-Cons.
Yeah. Rest in peace. He passed away a few years ago in 2022, but he did Batman in a lot of stuff. But he was also like a guest star. He did Cheers, Matlock, Murphy Brown back in the day.
Yeah.
But he became known as the voice of Batman. So he actually he's the first voice actor to alter his voice tone between portraying Batman and Bruce Wayne. Now, Michael Keaton had done it in the live-action Batman films, but no other Batman iteration ever before had a separation of voices. It was just the same voice, but he ended up doing Batman in the new Batman Adventures. He did Batman in Batman Beyond, where he played an elderly Bruce Wayne who's retired, and he has the young kid or whatever that's doing it for him. He was in Justice League Unlimited, Batman Mask of the Phantasm, which is a really good theatrical film.
It's one of the. I've always heard that's one of the best animated Batman movies ever.
It is. It's a really good one. It's one of my favorite ones, yeah. And then he ended up doing Batman in the direct-to-video. I mean, he's been Batman in pretty much just about everything that has Batman. Superman and Batman Public Enemies, Superman and Batman Apocalypse, Batman the Killing Joke, Batman and Harley Quinn. So he pretty much was in his bag as Batman. He also had guest appearances as Batman on Teen Titans Go and Scooby-Doo Guess
That
Who.
came out a little too late for me. Like, I already had kids and all that stuff, and they just weren't into it at the
Well,
time.
you know,
so I
if
just kinda
you're still
missed
into
it.
animation,
I'm
go
not.
back
I'm not going back.
and go watch it. It's great. I think it's great. But he also
Number-
did Batman in Batman Arkham, Batman Arkham Asylum, and Batman Arkham City, and those are all video games. So he has pretty much been known as Batman now for more of
time.
his career than anything else. He's done a lot of other stuff, but Batman is where he really made his bread and butter. He played Batman for a very, very long time.
Number
up until he passed.
22 is South Park. Now,
That's a good one.
South Park is one that I also never really got into. For
We have
some
a connection to South
reason. Every
Park.
once in a while, it was fine, but I don't.
We
know.
have a loose connection to the South Park
Yeah,
movie.
who's that?
So John Fountain, for those of you that haven't seen our podcast, we only did 16 episodes, but it's still a good watch. It's called The Animation Conversation. You can find it on YouTube.
Yeah.
But he actually, one of his early jobs in the animation industry was working for the South Park movie.
Yeah.
And he said it was a really hard job, and he didn't really like it that much, but he was a part of it. So there you go.
Number 21 is Gravity Falls. You ever watch any Gravity Falls?
Never seen that one.
See,
though.
I've
seen
never
that
really
one.
watched it either. I know that I've seen some in passing, but not that much. It says in 2010s, Disney had a bit of an animation renaissance, thanks to a couple of shows on this list. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. The first one up is Gravity Falls. It's a mystery story about a couple of kids' supernatural bend. Think of it like sibling Scooby-Doo with better animation and less bubblegum pop. Even adults got invested in the mystery. I don't know.
No,
Again,
I missed
it's one of
that
those
one for
times
sure.
It just didn't hit. How about number 20, Doug?
I've seen all of Doug. I went back and watched it as an adult, and just to see how well it stood up.
Thank you, Artie.
Phenomenal show. Doug is a really, really, really good show. Doug Funny's actually
I never
voiced by
got into
Billy
Doug.
West,
Couldn't do it.
and Billy West is a hugely
Number
famous
19
voice
is
actor.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Did you watch any of the 80s Turtles stuff?
Yeah, I watched all of it. Yeah, I've
Did
seen
you?
all that.
Yeah. Not a lot to say about that other than they eat pizza. And
It was an
there's
amazing
incredible-
show, though. It was a really
Number
good show.
18, if you want to get really deep here, Venture Brothers. Venture Brothers is fantastic. I always like Venture Brothers because of the absurdity,
Yeah,
the silly voices, the
it reminded me of like a Johnny Quest like show.
It is like Johnny Quest, just ridiculous though. Not that Johnny Quest wasn't. Number 17, Space Goes Coast to Coast. We have covered that before.
I've seen every episode of Space Goes Coast to Coast now. I've seen every episode of The
Excellent.
Brack Show.
Excellent.
All of that stuff is really good.
Very funny, very absurd, very short.
A lot
Easy
of
to get into.
well, we've discussed it too when we did the Letterman podcast. We discussed the connections between.
Also with
what was his
Swimmer's
his girlfriend's name? What was David Letterman's girlfriend's name?
I can see her. Shit, I can't remember. I don't know.
Meryl Marco.
Meryl.
So Meryl Marco actually has an episode on there, but
Black Ant
there's
hates
a lot of connections between David Letterman and that show because that show is based off of David Letterman's show.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of there's people that created that show that also had a hand in some of the writing and stuff for David Letterman.
It says here at the bottom, when it worked, it was fantastic, and that's absolutely true. Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, is number 15. Harvey Birdman,
Seen a
Attorney
lot
at
of
Law
that.
is one of those where Adult Swim went in and they took old footage and were able to build something around it.
Which
They
is
took
a
old
lot of
characters, which
what
is
they've done.
fantastic.
My
Yeah.
favorite episode of that one is
'Cause the
where
Hanna-Barbera stuff, not great in my estimation, most of it.
most of it's just filler stuff, but I don't know. I like a couple of the shows, but my favorite episode of
Thunder.
Harvey Birdman is when
Thunder.
the Mystery Machine gets pulled over
Yeah.
and they try to give
Mhm.
Shaggy and Scooby possession tickets for
Mhm.
possession of weed,
Yeah.
and they go have like a whole court process that they
Yeah.
go through and stuff like that. I think that's a hilarious episode.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Number 14, the Flintstones. You can't really beat the old Flintstones. I've seen every
The
one of them
Honeymooners, yeah.
because I just watch them after school.
I've seen a lot of them.
Not old enough to have seen them in person, but I did see them in.
My favorite thing about them, though, is
reruns.
the Winston commercial where Betty and Wilma are mowing the front lawn
I like that
while
black
they're looking for a place to smoke a cigarette. So they go behind the house and they're like, "Let's hope they don't catch us smoking."
Yeah.
And they're sitting there passing back and
Oh,
forth
yeah.
the cigarette. That was a pretty good episode. Pretty
Number
good, pretty
16,
good stuff.
Hey Arnold, football head.
Seen all of it. Yep,
Yeah.
watched the entire series.
My daughter watched it when she was little, but
It reminds me of Doug.
Yeah, it's a little Dougish. Number 13, though, fantastic one, Powerpuff Girls. That
Yep.
is a wonderful show.
Which also have a connection to that loosely. Rob Renzetti was the roommate of Gendy Tartakovsky, and they all created Two Stupid Dogs together.
Yeah.
And then Rob Renzetti worked on this show and a couple other shows too. But we have an interview with him also on the Animation Conversation. He was actually the guy who created My Life as a Teenage Robot,
Yeah.
and he's one of F's good friends.
Number sorry, we just did Powerpuff. Number 12, Scooby-Doo, Mystery Incorporated, the original one. Great show. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is Mystery
No, I was
Incorporated.
supposed to
It's not
say,
the original one. This
yeah.
is the one that ran from 2010 to 2013.
The original one is Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?
I did think this was a good version of it. I thought it was really well done. The animation is good. The voices are good.
My son has watched every Scooby-Doo episode and every Scooby-Doo movie ever. He's watched them
Yeah.
all. His nickname is
Scoob, the newest
Scoobers.
one, Scoob, is a good movie.
Yeah,
It's
he
a
liked
decent
it.
movie.
He liked it. He said it was
Yeah.
pretty good. But he knows so much about Scooby-Doo that within the first minute or two of introducing the character
Yeah.
or whatever,
He can tell
he
you.
could tell you who did what, where, when. It's like Clue. He knows who did what in what room and where and why.
I like this, and this does tell you the difference between the old one and the new one. It says, "Oh, and the backgrounds don't just repeat themselves over and over." So
Yeah.
this one's a little better.
There's a lot of reusage of backgrounds
no,
in
I
the
did
original
not watch
Scooby-Doo.
Velma. I should have. Black Ant. Number 10, I believe Artie or somebody brought it up a while ago. The Critic.
Yep,
The
The Critic.
with John Lovitz.
That was a good one.
The Critic was excellent. It was an excellent cartoon. It was another one of those that Fox had that they didn't know what the hell to do with.
No, they
Fox
didn't.
used
It was
to,
ahead of its time.
Yes, Fox used to greenlight some stuff that was fantastic, and then they just gave up on it so soon. They would give up on it so quickly.
Speaking of
Today,
Fox,
if you introduced The Critic today and you had it on HBO or you had it on Netflix or something, it would be a runaway hit.
speaking of the next one is number 11 with SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yeah.
Speaking of SpongeBob SquarePants, another connection. SpongeBob SquarePants. We interviewed one of the newer, like somebody's worked on it within the last like 5 to 10 years, Pinky Davis, and they are launching a pilot for Fox. They're doing a pilot right now where it's anthropomorphic horses because she's they are a horse lady. She's like a horse person or whatever. She they love horses, and they're actually during the LA fires they were helping people evacuate their livestock.
Okay.
And they are launching. It's a mall, and it's two horses who are like security guards at a mall, and that's all I know about
Okay.
it right now. So
Great.
they're launching like this pilot for them. But yes, SpongeBob SquarePants is the next one. I've seen a lot of it. I haven't seen all of it, but
Artie says
it is now.
By the way, Artie says if it ain't Casey Kasem, it's not Scooby Doo.
Yeah, you're right.
Pretty true. Okay, keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars, Artie.
SpongeBob is now the longest running children's animated show, beating out Arthur.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So they beat Arthur.
SpongeBob has that is a crazy cultural phenomenon. That thing came on and it just didn't stop. Like it took over. It had merchandising. It had movies. It had everything.
Yeah, I would never let my kids watch it though. I don't feel like.
Pup named Scooby Doo wasn't bad.
Oh,
either.
Zach. Hey, Zach.
King of the Hill is number 9. I think we all know what King of the Hill is at this point, and we're just sitting here waiting on the reboot. Number 8, Adventure Time. I can tell you this: I've not seen a lot of Adventure Time, but what I have seen of Adventure Time is a fantastic show.
I've seen pretty much all of it.
It's weird. It's wonderful. It's wacky.
So you know how I found out about Adventure Time?
What's that?
So. I want to say it was around 2009. Around 2009 or so, I was looking at random shorts that were on the internet. So they had like a bunch of shorts and stuff. It was around 2009, yeah. And it was a short that was released on Nicktoons, okay, yeah, so it was 2007, sorry. It became a viral hit on the internet, so I found it about 2009, and it was done by Frederator Studios. So if you don't know who Frederator Studios is, everybody, Frederator Studios was ran by a guy named Fred Seibert, and he's responsible for Oh Yeah Cartoons, which was where you get the Fairly Odd Parents, Chalk Zone, My Life as a Teenage Robot, Fanboy and Chum Chum, Adventure Time.
Fairly Odd Parents is a good
you
show
get
too,
a lot, which is F again.
which is not on his list.
F was on 3 of the shows I mentioned actually. The Fairly Odd Parents, Chalk Zone, My Life as a Teenage Robot. Really good animator guy. He's like, pretty good in the industry or whatever. But Fred Seibert actually became the president of Hanna-Barbera Cartoons, and he created this thing called What a Cartoon. So back in the day, you would pitch your cartoon or whatever, but this gave them an opportunity to scope out what cartoons would be best by giving you all these shorts. So that's how Adventure Time came about. And
Adventure Time's a big one.
Huge one. It was
very
actually
good.
one of the most inventive things I'd seen at the time. I thought it was super creative, and I don't know. I fell in love with that show just off of that short, because that short was just, I don't know, it was an amazing short.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
Level up your game with Corsair, the global leader in high-performance gear for gamers, content creators, and PC enthusiasts. From award-winning PC components to premium streaming equipment, smart lighting, and esports coaching services, Corsair delivers an ecosystem designed for peak performance. Whether you're a casual gamer or a pro, alleviate your setup with Corsair. Shop now at Corsair.com. That's Corsair.com. Corsair.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Our research-backed bioavailable formulas are crafted with your health in mind, ensuring the highest quality and safety. From preconception to pregnancy and beyond, we exceed industry standards with independent testing for harmful contaminants. With our comprehensive practitioner directory, personalized care is always within reach. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at fullwellfertility.com. At Mitzi, we believe the right light can transform any space. Born from a third-generation lighting family, we craft beautifully designed, premium lighting that's made to be affordable. Inspired by Grandma Mitzi's eclectic style, we're on a mission to make high-quality lighting accessible to all. Whether you're updating your space or adding a unique fixture, Mitzi has the perfect design for you. Beautiful, well-made lighting without the high price tag. Discover your perfect light at Mitzi.com. That's MITZI.com. Mitzi.
And now, back to our show.
Number 7 is Archer. Archer is a fantastic show, but Archer is not about the animation. Archer is all about the writing and the characters. And this has some of the best people in the world in it.
Yeah, it doesn't have very great
John
animation.
Benjamin is fan-frickin-tastic. I love that guy in almost anything he's in. Number 6, Rocco's Modern Life. Rocco's Modern Life was a good one also. It was kind of funny. It was pretty groundbreaking for Nickelodeon at the time.
Yeah, it was.
But the one that's not on here that is also about the same time is Courage the Cowardly Dog, and that was a good show. That was one of the only horror-based cartoons I can
For
think
kids,
of.
yeah.
Yeah. But it was a good show. Rocco kind of took a little bit off of Ren and Stimpy and things like that. And, by the way, this list sucks because there's no Ren and Stimpy. So there you go. Number 5, Phineas and Ferb.
Nah, I didn't really.
Never a fan.
I passed the age.
Yep.
I'm like a generation up from that one.
Number 4, Teen Titans Go.
That's another one that I was like
Yeah.
a generation late for that. It came out
Courage
just
the
a little
Cowardly
late
Dog,
for me
man.
to be concerned with it.
Yeah, I just didn't. I have a hard time with animation for superheroes. I just don't. I don't know why.
I like animation for superheroes, but I don't like that because that was definitely targeted for a certain age group.
Yes.
Now, like all the Batman animated stuff and stuff like that, and all the old Superman cartoons and stuff, I really like those. But that specific one, the Teen Titans one, it wasn't something that was
Now,
definitely not on my radar at
I'm
all.
going to give you one here that is very controversial.
Okay.
This is number 3, Daria.
Daria.
Now, let me
absolutely.
read you what it says underneath it. It says, Beavis and Butthead, the show Daria spun off from, didn't make our list. We had to include Daria, though, because it's so much better than the simple show it spawned from. The characters are so much more interesting and funny. Daria was and is a role model for so many sardonic, sarcastic quipsters who still care deep down inside. It's a show laden with funny characters of all flavors. We particularly fans of Daria's dad, Jake. No character makes yelling in vain as funny.
You know what
So
I found weird about this, though?
I do get it because Beavis and Butthead is not an all-animated show. I get that.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I found out that was weird about this is that Mike Judge had no involvement in this whatsoever.
Right.
So it is a spin-off of his show, obviously, Beavis and Butthead, in which Daria was this recurring character who was voiced by Tracy Grandstaff, which she ended up being voiced by Tracy Grandstaff in the show as well, in the Daria spin-off. He had zero involvement of the production at all because around the time that this show came out, which this series came out in 1997, is also the year that King of the Hill came out. So he was working on King of the Hill when this came out, and King of the Hill was in full swing in 97, 98, 99, 2001, and 2002.
I read somewhere that
So
they're rebooting Daria as well.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Which I can
and
see.
I wouldn't doubt that it would be on
Yeah.
their animation production studio that's producing it.
All right, number
But,
2
there you go.
on our list of 25 greatest of all time is Futurama.
Amazing
Now,
show.
Futurama was great. I have not watched a lot of the newer stuff, but it was great when it was on Fox. I loved it.
The thing that I like about Futurama the most is the writing and the science. So they actually have a lot of their writers that write on this show are all
true.
actual science people. They're all, physicists, astrophysicists and stuff like that. So I always thought that was cool that the show had a lot of as accurate as you can be in a cartoon. But I always thought it was cool that they used real
Yeah, up to a certain
science
point they do.
people
Yeah,
in
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So
And then number 1 on this list, what do you think it would be?
everybody
It's The
should know
Simpsons.
it's going to be
Yeah,
The
it's The
Simpsons.
And I'm not real sure what we can add to the zeitgeist that would help you understand The Simpsons if you don't know what they are. The Simpsons have been around for 1,000,000 years, and they've gone through so many great writers. The writing on The Simpsons is not as good as it used to be, but boy, when Conan was one of the writers there and a couple of the other guys, they had some wonderful writing and some really great gags. The one that I liked a lot.
There's a lot of overlap in some of these Fox shows
Sure.
with voice actors, with writers.
Yeah.
Because throughout all this research that we've done for King of the Hill, there's definitely overlap for King
Oh,
of the Hill
yeah,
and Simpsons
definitely.
people. There's definitely overlap for voice actors for Futurama, The Simpsons, King of the Hill.
Black Ant got it right with The Simpsons. Zach says he loves shows that have jokes for everyone. That's honestly my favorite kind of animation also. When you look back at like the old Merry Medleys and the Looney Tunes, when you watch a Bugs Bunny cartoon, it has adult jokes and it has kid jokes in it. And everybody can enjoy it. And that's because at the time they were shown before movies.
They were for
in the
adults.
theaters.
Yeah, actually, like at that time, the Looney Tunes weren't even targeted for children. They were written for adults. It
There
wasn't
is-
until like the '80s that they were targeted for kids, or '70s they were targeted for kids.
If I had to put together a list of maybe say top 3, Bob Odenkirk and Dana Gould. Yeah, you're right. They came out of the Simpsons.
Conan O'Brien and
if I had
Greg
to put
Daniels.
together a top 3 list of my favorite animated shows of all time, Ren and Stimpy would be probably at the top, just because I love that wacky, dirty, gritty, gross animation that he did. John Krafowski. There's a great little short documentary on YouTube you can watch about the making of the show. It's really good. It hit at the right time for me. It was just one of my favorites. And by the way, what rolls downstairs alone or in pairs rolls over your neighbor's dog. What fits on your back and is good for a snack. It's log, log, log. Log, log. It's big, it's heavy, it's wood. Log, log. It's better than bad. It's good. So you can tell Ren and Stimpy stuck with me for a little bit.
Absolutely. It wasn't a bad show. Until it went to its second revival was kind of raunchy.
Yeah.
Or its revival to, what was it on? It was on Spike.
Yeah, it was on Spike. My second favorite animated show, probably Bob's Burgers. I really enjoyed it. I haven't watched it in a while now, but it was really good writing. Well done. And then third, I don't know, it'd be somewhere between Simpsons, something like that probably. It falls off real quick for me after my top 2.
Yeah.
You know?
My top 3, obviously, my number 1 is going to be King of the Hill.
Yeah.
My number 2.
That's funny because I didn't even think of King of the Hill as a cartoon when I was putting that list together in my head.
Yeah.
I didn't even think it was a cartoon.
It's because
that says a lot.
We're ingrained in it.
Yeah.
Number 2 for me would probably be Space Ghost Coast to Coast. And the reason for that would be the fact that I really, really watched a lot of David Letterman as a teenager and as a middle schooler and junior high kid. And it was just a sillier version of that. And you got celebrities on there and stuff of the day.
You know
and
what
all
else
that.
was good? There was a Mighty Mouse cartoon that came on that John Krafowski had something to do with.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
And it was this weird reboot of Mighty Mouse in kind of a Ren and Stimpy animation.
Yeah,
and
no, I didn't know that.
There was one episode that got the whole thing taken off the air, and it was the fact that they would sniff these flowers just a little too hard, kind of like they were Coke, and then they would have all this energy and stuff.
Oh,
and
okay.
So, yeah, that's basically what got it kicked off.
And then I guess my third one, like you said, it kind of falls off after there because it kind of gets tough. But I guess it would be probably, the Simpsons, I guess I'd say somewhere around there. But I haven't watched The Simpsons in probably
it's been a long time.
20 years, so... Yeah. I was like a teenager when I stopped watching it. But I wanted to give a quick shout out to Jaden Libran.
God, it's crazy. I don't even think of watching King
of the Hill as animated. I don't really think it as a cartoon sometimes either. Yeah. But I wanted to give a shout out to Jaden.
Renegade Angel. Zach asked
Renegade
about.
Angel. Hold on.
Remember Xavier Renegade Angel, that weird CGI cartoon? You may
I don't remember
that
one.
When I
I don't remember that one
but
at all.
It was oh my God, it's terrible. Yeah,
I'll have to check
made
that out.
to be terrible. Don't get me wrong. It's awful, but it's great.
Yeah, so I want to give a shout out to Jaden Libran. He is
Jaden's been on our show.
He's been on our show twice, and he's a big King of the Hill guy. But he was just recently cast in.
That's right, Black Ant.
Lil Kev.
Lil Kev.
So Lil Kev, for those of you that don't know,
Lil Kev.
is
Lil Kev.
an animated adult series. It'll be the first ever adult animated series dropping on March 6th on BET Plus.
It's really hard to believe that BET has never had an animated series like that was specifically made on their network.
Yeah, and
That's
he
crazy.
will play Omar, which is a hardened ex-con with a tender and romantic side. And, check that out. Make sure you check that out. It's going to be on March 6th. It's set in 1993 in North Philly, and it is all about a 12-year-old Kevin Hart's hilarious misadventures. So there you go.
Black Ant says, talking about the Mighty Mouse thing, says the joke was he was sniffing flowers, but beforehand he crumbled it up into powder on accident, so parents got mad thinking it was a cocaine joke. Which it probably was.
Probably
honestly.
was a cocaine joke.
But that's it, guys. That is top 25.
That's
you
the
feel
top
free
25.
to send us your lists. We would love to read them or go over them and argue about them. Okay, and I'm gonna say something here that I didn't think I would ever say. If you want to send me a list of anime stuff that we need to talk about, do that. That's fine. We can do that here, but we'll do it on a Friday, and you're going to have to try real hard to convince me to like some of these things. I love Akira, if that counts for anything, but that's about it. And then Boondocks, yep, I remember when they had beef with
Okay, there we go.
BET.
I could take that as my third then. Boondocks is my third.
Really?
Okay, so I could completely change my whole top five, top four now. It's going to be King of the Hill.
Yep.
It would be Space Ghost Coast to Coast, Boondocks, and Squidbillies in a tie for third.
Squidbillies, you talk about that one a lot.
Yeah, Squid. It was just, I don't know. It was just
Well, it just hit you right. Yeah, that's all it is.
just hit me just right. That was a funny ass show.
Guys, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate all of you. We love you guys. The fact that you guys stick around and stay in the chat rooms and stuff, we love it. If you're not here for a live one, we do this about 11 a.m. Central Standard Time on Sundays. We'll do back-to-back, so we do our Monday and our Friday. And you want to tell them where they can find us?
You can find us at BWAAAKOTH on all social medias. You could email us at BWAAA, that's 3 A's, BWAAAKOTH@gmail.com. You could also find us on YouTube at BWAAAKOTH at YouTube. If you go to our YouTube, please subscribe, like, hit that notification bell, and you'll get to see when we go live. We're also live now on Instagram. We have hooked up the Instagram to the broadcasting software. So now you can see us on Instagram. And next week,
See you,
we'll
Zach.
set it up to where we're on Facebook as well. So we'll be live in 3 separate places: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. And
See you,
if
Artie.
there's any other live places you want to see us, let us know, and we'll try to get that hooked up on there too. But
Absolutely.
that's where you can see us live, is those 3 places starting next week.
Alexander Green wants to know if we know of Lil Bubby Child. I don't know what that means. You'll have to tell us later.
Oh, are you talking? I think Lil Bubby Child is a cartoon that he's talking about. I've seen him on Facebook. It's like it's like they've got a couple of animated things, but it's like
YouTube it, he says. Yeah.
I think it's where it's this little redneck guy. There's a YouTube. It was on Instagram where I first found it actually, and it's a cartoon. It's like a real
GQ
simple
barbecue.
drawing of a kid,
Thanks for being here.
and it's like a redneck thing. And it was
done.
like
We'll be here next Sunday.
it was like they're giving half an inch of snow, so run get Mama 3 loaves of bread and a 2% milk and pick up some fried livers. We'll need something healthy to keep our strength going. It's just like really redneck things. That's what it is for sure.
GQ Barbecue just checked in, said hello, new to the channel, just found y'all.
Oh, well, appreciate that, GQ Barbecue. You caught us at the
You know
very
what?
end of our broadcast.
You know what
but
I've been watching, and I don't even know how I came across it. There's this thing on YouTube called Improbably Poppy, Poppy. Poppy is this woman who she did a lot of screamo stuff and really avant-garde art rock stuff, but now she does this weird little talk show, and just the tip, says GQ Barbecue. Nice job. She does this show, Improbably Poppy, and it is the most surreal, weird thing. It reminds me a lot of like Pee-wee's Playhouse almost kind of
I'll have
stuff.
to check that out.
Very good.
Did you know that he
Yeah.
posthumously came out as gay?
Who?
Pee Wee Herman.
No, that didn't.
Oh, yeah. So John Redcorn, the
Says
real
met
guy,
John Redcorn.
he recently got married to his partner.
Oh, good for him.
And he had his house burned down in San Antonio. So sorry about that.
He was
also tried to charge me $5,000 to talk for 30 minutes on our show. But
Well, he was also on.
Kathy Hawley's new
He
too.
was on
Well,
Parks and
dang!
Rec.
Welcome
Hey,
to all the
Kathy,
new
how are
people.
you? Thank you for
Make
finding
sure to hit
us.
the like and the subscription and
Yeah.
the
Hey,
notification bell.
I'll say this one more time. Generally, we record these live streams. GQ's in San Antonio.
Oh
Nice
yeah,
job.
shout out from San Antonio. Heck yeah.
Go Spurs, go.
That's where John Redcorn lives.
Yeah. But
Jonathan Joss, I think is his name.
He is. Generally, we try to do these live streams Sundays at 11 a.m. Central. If you can catch us here, that'd be great. If not, we take these and we chop them up. We make our episodes out of them. So thank you guys for being here. We appreciate all of you, and I believe there is one thing left to say.
Appreciate all the new timers. Thanks for coming. Hey, stick around. We'll be live again next Sunday.
Sunday 11 a.m.
I'm also considering doing random streams of me playing video games.
Next
on our-
Sunday,
on
the
our-
time may be off, just simply because we have Block Party on Saturday and the award show on Sunday.
I forgot about
What
that.
we may do is we may try to go live from the award show or something like that.
Are we going to be doing anything at the block party?
No, No.
Okay.
This is a little bit different.
Well, you have me doing something, which I need to ask you about
Yeah, we'll talk.
before we leave.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. And what's the last thing to say?
Well, for the new timers, we end each show with
Just say it.
Weema Tanya.
Weema Tanya, indeed. See you guys. This has been a Rogue Media Network production.